Okay, and we are back after technical difficulties here in Game 5, the deciding game between Manu and Viserys. Played out similarly to the previous games. They've played a bunch of small creatures, traded them off. The board is working towards a bit of a stall here, and it's likely going to revolve again around who is able to draw the first Bandit Queen.
Yeah, Manus is in a position where he can start attacking through, and he has the Argenport Instigator, so it looks like he's happy to trade out for the time being. Viserys is desperately going to need to pick up a power. If he doesn't hit a power here, these assembly lines aren't going to be online, and he's going to have issues going into the following turns. He's very likely willing to take these 2 damage for the next turn at least, just so that he can use the Suffocate here. And he does even have a Torch here, and this is pretty nice. The Torch is actually a very solid pickup since whatever unit Manus plays this turn, likely going to be this Rakano Outlaw, he's going to be able to take care of proactively and then reestablish the board if he can find a power next turn.
Yeah, definitely. He really needs to find that power to get these assembly lines in play to have a shot. But if he does, he's going to be in reasonable shape because this Outlaw's gone. He will have more tokens, and Manu's just down to a Torch. So we'll see if Viserys is able to draw power. And even if he doesn't, he has several turns. It's just 2 damage. So it's not the most urgent thing in the world.
No, he's not on a huge clock, and he finds a Pyro Knight of his own, so he'll be able to start pressuring 2 damage back and forth, assuming Manus doesn't drop the Torch here. And yeah, Manus doesn't pick anything up right here. We'll see how this progresses. I mean, if Viserys can grab even a single power, he will be able to take control back of this game, but right now he's just not finding it. He's just finding the Torch, and Viserys actually just passing his turn, not even trying to swing in. I figured you would at least be trading back and forth with the clock, but I guess at this point he's willing to trade the tokens off.
This is fair. He understands he has a lot more business than Manu. He just wants to survive to that point. I do think that preventing the 1 isn't really worth it. I'd rather trade the 2 damage back and forth. But I understand the logic. You feel like if you can just keep the game going, you'll be fine. Same reason why we see the Suffocate here.
Yeah, Suffocate coming down to clean up the other one, and now it's just going to come down to Manus really finding some sort of interaction. I mean, a Flame Blast is not a bad pickup here, but it's not what he's looking for. But on the other hand, Viserys is just dead in the water still. And Manus is at least, kind of building towards a lethal setup.
There is a depleted power for Viserys, so next turn we'll start seeing the assembly lines coming down, and once the assembly lines are down, Bandit Queen is going to come, and that's going to represent a lot of damage for Viserys.
Yeah, this is going to be very crucial now that Viserys can actually get down these assembly lines, and next turn he can even drop the Bandit Queen if he wants to start putting pressure, or if he wants to be greedy, he can go for double assembly line into Bandit Queen.
I think you'd play the other assembly line first. It's still putting dudes in play. They're like, you're still making forward progress in your opponent's life total. Maybe not even a second Bandit Queen, you just go runner, but actually I think it's even more attractive to assembly line first before you go runner.
Yeah, and now he can use the Torch to take care of the 2/2 Grenadin to make sure he's going to push 2 damage and get a trade here. And then, yeah, with the 2 Bandit Queens, it's starting to look very much like Viserys is going to take this one. Manus is going to need to pick up a Soulfire Drake or another Flame Blast off the top of the deck to win here.
Yeah.
I don't know if Soulfire Drake will actually take care of it.
I mean, I think if he draws he can burn spell. I think we're going to see Flame Blast in the face, or I guess not, but I feel like Manu's best way to win there is like Flame Blast, and then this isn't going to be a lethal hit, but the Bandit Queen is just large, and then if he ripped another Flame Blast, that's it, or even potentially Soulfire Drake, I think.
Yeah, so I think... Actually, I don't think he can win from this point. Because this is going to be 1 turn turnaround. Like, he's going to have all the damage of this turn exactly. I mean, he's going to take 8 here, and then next turn he's going to be taking the same amount, I believe. No, he's going to be taking 12 next turn, so that'll be exactly 20. Unless Manus can torch this Bandit Queen right here, which will make it so that he only takes 8 this turn, assuming he jump blocks with the Oni Ronin. So he needs to find a 1-drop, Flame Blast for 7 towards face, and then rip another Flame Blast. That's his winning line right now, I do believe.
Yeah, and we could see him like parsing a lot of that out, and he will throw the Torch on the Bandit Queen, likely take 8, possibly chump block, because there is the Grenadin drone on defense. It's not going to let the Oni Ronin through, but maybe he's content to get the Warcry trigger. And there's a Bandit Queen of his own.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a little too late here. I mean, it is going to push through for 7, but we obviously know that the Bandit Queen is the runner card, and there's no way around this for him. He is going to be taking 12 right here. Although, suppose this Flame Blast was a torch for a minute, Mantis would actually possibly win this game. And
yeah, this is a very close mirror. Like, it's just it seems very reliant on Bandit Queen and who goes first, and a lot of stuff outside of the player's control. But good showing by Manu and Viserys. Viserys will be moving on to the finals, where he will be facing off against Master Bacon, who won his match against Maybe Next Time 3-1.
Okay, so we will take a short break before we resume with the Stone Scar Burn Queen matchup against the Rakano Plate. 1 second before I go, though, I just want everybody to know that Lights Out Ace will be streaming following our stream immediately after. So if you want to check out some sweet Eternal content after this and see a fantastic player streaming it up, probably doing some ladder and possibly some drafts, make sure to check it out after the stream. We will continue to host. Though that is all we are going to have until the finals. Finals will be coming up in just a few moments, folks. We just have to get the matchup put together. The match is already done, and we will be bringing you some sweet finals action. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
Open the floodgates, get ready for the flow.
You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Hello and welcome to the finals here at the Eternal Tournament Series, Week 4, Season 4. I am Truedawn. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Bairdrus.
Hello, everybody. We have our final matchup of the day. It's going to be a fantastic one. This is a age-old match, and our players have already started, so we're going to keep the introduction short. But, of course, we got Visarius on Burn Queen up against Master Bacon, who's on Rakano Plate. This is a match that's been around for ages. If you have played Eternal for even a few months, you have no doubt played this matchup at some point here. And this is a matchup about who plays first and who can get more aggressive against their opponent. So we will see how the game's progressing, as we're already seeing some very fast turns being played out. Visarius already has 4 units down that he's building towards. And Master Bacon's been able to respond with a Champion of Glory and an Oni Ronin here. If Visarius can pick up a Bandit Queen, Master Bacon will be sitting in a little bit of trouble.
Although Master Bacon is like the perfect draw you want against Bandit Queen. Although we do see that Visarius Drew Bandit Queen is going to be really potent next turn. He has the Champion of Glory, which holds things for a while, and he has the Silvern Familiar to turn the corner once with like the equipment to make it large. So this Bandit Queen is going to represent a pretty large hit, but after that, the Silvern Familiar could potentially stabilize the game.
Yeah, it certainly could. We're going to see a lot of trading happening on this board, though. Visarius is going to be looking for more Bandit Queens after this, so this is going to be a huge swing in the meantime. We are going to see a ton of damage coming through. It looks like it's going to be about 4... we're going to see 8, 12, 15... I'm calling about 17 damage coming through here. I mean, it will take Master Bacon down to about 8, and this is all depending on how the blocks come down anyway.
If Master Bacon draws a power for the Deep Forge plate, I actually think he crushes. But if he only can play the Scepter, then it's a lot less clear.
Yeah, certainly. Master Bacon does go down to 8 here. Plenty of units on the board still. So yeah, this is going to come down to whether or not Deep Forge plate comes down. And Scepter is not a bad card, but as you just said, you know, it's lacking a few things. He really needed the endurance here, and I think, unfortunately, he's just going to get run over without having the endurance. Because he's going to have to just kind of hold back and wait another turn. We'll see what Visarius picks up, and he picks up a Torch. I think that just creates lethal for him, unless I'm mistaken. I don't even know if he needs to torch the Champion of Glory here. If he just goes full board, his 3 highest units get blocked away. He still does 5 damage. His opponent does recover 3, but you do trade off.
No, yeah, it doesn't appear to be lethal because only 5 gets through, gain 3, so -2, he goes to 6.
Yeah, so in that case, you probably do go ahead and torch the Champion of Glory to make sure that nothing gets traded off here, because you are going to get to take advantage of forcing the Silverwing Familiar to trade off here to not give your opponent lethal. He cannot just block this way. Actually, I think he can just game 3. Gaining 3 might allow him to circumvent having to trade.
Yeah, he can, because he actually like goes to 3, I believe. And actually, we're still in a spot where if he draws a power for Deep Forge plate, I do believe that he is able to win this race.
Picking up a Torch, not bad. That might also do it. He's going to be able to gain 4 here, and it looks like he's probably going to be taking about 3 damage since he'll be able to throw the Torch.
Hard to point here changes the math a bit. It makes the second Silver Familiar not really a good blocker.
Yeah, that's certainly true. He has to consider, yeah, I think you do have to just go for the A space here instead of trying not to commit the Grenadins and just attack him with the 2/1s to force trades.
Yeah, so we can block the 3/2 on a 1/1, block the 2/1 with the 1/1. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gain 3. Yeah, and if you torch, yeah, he lives if he blocks the 2/1 with the 1/1 and the 3/2 on a 1/1 and torches the 2/2.
Yeah, he should
actually fine.
Yeah, he should live at 2 health here. So again, yeah, we're going to be in another situation coming into the next turn.
Yeah, with a power for Deep Forge plate. Even if he doesn't draw the power for Deep Forge plate, this Champion of Glory, I think, also is good. But no, I don't think it's enough, right? No.
Nah, that's not enough, unfortunately. So he's going to have to hit another Silverwing Familiar here or another weapon. doesn't find that, though he does find Oni
yeah,
Ronin.
I think that's because you get to block the 3/2 flyer on the 3/3. Your Champion Glory eats the 2/2, 2/1. The second Argent Port Instigator, I do believe, makes it lethal because any creature dying kills them.
Yeah, I think this does it. This combat math is getting very awkward. So he's going to go up to 5, you would assume. And yeah, he has to block with the Silverwing Familiar here. So even though this doesn't guarantee him lethal, it actually gains Master of Bacon 1 life. What it does is it removes the threat of the Silverwing Familiar from play. And now that he picks up the Diplomatic Seal,
Perfect.
Yeah, it's 1 turn too late here, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's going to be exactly lethal damage is going to come through on the following turn. Although he has to block because he would die. So this is not true. He's not dead yet. Right? Oh no, it's 1 short. Never mind. I'm good at math. Promise I'm good at math.
Yeah, he will be 1 short, and
it would be a draw, right? Because
they're both at 1. Yeah, so actually this goes to Master Bacon. Yeah. Since he doesn't have to block, he doesn't have to make any trades on this board. And there's no way for him to get around the Overwhelm. So that last power on the Deep Forge plate ends up making all the difference. And Master Bacon is able to bring the game in a very, very close fashion. I mean, that was down to the wire. 1 health apiece on each of the players.
Yeah, we will be moving into game 2 shortly as there is no sideboarding. But yeah, that was all about the Silvering Familiars just trying to keep it going. Deep Forge plate ended up finishing it off, and that is certainly what needs to happen for the Rakano player. Silvering Familiar and Deep Forge plate are certainly your best cards in the matchup. So he was able to leverage both of those and just barely squeak by with 1 life is more than he needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing the players check out their hands. Master Bacon with an interesting hand. He's got an Inspire. He's got a Sword of Akari. Sword of Akari can be very good in this matchup. There are a ton of tiny units you want to take care of. Ooh, and a 4/4 Hammer might picked up too. If he'll get that down on the Champion of Glory on the following turn, that could be pretty nasty.
Yeah, Champion of Glory is one of the other good cards in the matchup. It actually blocks all the 1/1s and the 2/1s. So having that is a big game, although Viserys does have a torch for it.
Ooh, and now that he picks up a Pyro Knight, he's able to weave the Torch and the Pyro Knight into the same turn. I mean, that's fantastic. Otherwise, you would still Torch on that turn, but it would look a little bit more awkward not being able to get down your Argentport Instigator. As it stands, though, being able to weave the extra Pyro Knight into the play is really solid for him. See Sword of Akari come down for Master Bacon.
Interesting to see Sword of Akari come down that turn instead of Oni Ronin. Oni Ronin sets up the Hammer of Might, although I guess Oni Ronin does die to the universe.
Yeah, there are 2 Varus favors in Viserys' hand, so would have gotten slightly punished there for the Oni Ronin. It'll be interesting to see if he commits it this turn. If he does...
There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's going to get blown out, though, here by the Varus favor. I think the consideration to not play it this turn is to wait and ensure that your Hammer of Might comes down. Since there's no response window for the Hammer of Might, you ensure that you're going to have a 6/5 on the field.
I guess that is fair. It does play around both Torch and Vara's favor, but we will see the Vara's favor kill the Oni Ronin. 5 damage come across, and Master Bacon needs to draw like Silvering Familiar or a 1-drop. Maybe Inspire, hit Silvering Familiar.
Yeah, and
nope.
I think we're going to see a tied-up series here. This is definitely looking like it's going to go in Viserys' favor. Can't see a way Master Bacon gets out of this at this point. Can he survive 1 more attack? I don't think so. Depends on what he picks up anyway, but yeah, I don't think he can get around it 2/4. No, definitely not with the Varus favor coming down.
Yeah, any singular creature still is not good enough. Because blocking the 3/3 enough will still get through. And there's actually like one of the Pyro Knights gets to ult. So we will see players move to sideboards tied 1-1.
Yeah, and a very, very fast series here. Already through 2 games. Players tied 1 apiece. Let's take a look at their sideboarding options here and see what we're going to be looking at. We got a Master Bacon with Rakano Plate. So his Rakano Plate sideboard is 4 Finest Hours. And That's it, actually. That's all he's got to side in is 4 Finest Hours. So he'll probably be able to make some room for some Finest Hours. They're generally pretty solid in this matchup.
It should probably be in the main deck.
Yeah, probably should be in the main deck. Might also want to have a proper sideboard, but who am I to criticize? Master Bacon has made it this far. He did lock himself a slot for the Invitational. Clearly, he didn't need a sideboard today. On Visarius' side, though, let's take a look at what he's got. I mean, he's got some Sabotages, Suffocates, and Annihilates. I have to imagine that Suffocate looks pretty good in this matchup. It'll take down basically any unit that Master Bacon can come up with that's not buffed currently. So we'll probably see some amount of those in. How do you feel about Sabotage coming into this matchup, Truedawn?
I think it's too slow. I think that you do care about the equipment, you care about the Silvering Familiar, but it's a card that you're taking out something that helps you kill your opponent with, and you really need like your critical mass of stuff in order for like your Burn to Matter, your Bandit Queen, all that. So I kind of think you just like keep everything as is, maybe bring in Suffocates and stuff. But I really don't want to dilute the offensive potential of my deck.
Understandable. Yeah, I think I can agree to that there. I do feel like you have to find a way to interact with the Deep Forge plates, but at the same time, it is kind of hard to want to go ahead and take away from your offensive capabilities. Visarius here with his starting hand has a Pyronite and then 2 Recano Outlaws to follow up. Master Bacon, however, also has... he does pick up a 1-drop, although he picks it up a turn late. He does have the Pyronite. He's got the Hammer of Might and the Silverwing Familiar, though, and this is the important combo in this matchup. If you can stick a Hammer of Might on top of a Silverwing Familiar, generally speaking, then the Recano player should win the matchup. Your clock should be a lot faster than your opponent's. It's very hard to come back from that.
Yeah, the race does get a lot easier to win from that point, and actually... even without the lifelink, Master Bacon might be in a good position to win this race because Visarius doesn't have a lot going on.
Yeah, certainly does not. He's going to go ahead and slam the 2 units in here. We're obviously not going to see any blocks. Master Bacon's going to need to pick up a power here, though, and he does just that. Hammer Might's going to come down, and the clock is now completely in Master Bacon's favor because we're going to see a 10 damage life swing this turn.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to do that. Visarius is Warcrying 2 per turn, which does matter. But okay, I thought he like snap conceded there. Maybe he is. He's debating it. But the Warcry 2 per turn does give him a lot of like power off of his draws. That Deep Forge plate is not small though, and I think that the 5th power was enough for Visarius to decide to pack it in here. And we will move into game 4.
Yeah, and that was just an absolute beatdown there. And that is essentially how the Recano player wins this matchup. Like, he guarantees a win in this matchup by establishing a Silverwing Familiar and putting weapons on top of it. We, earlier on, when we were watching the Big Combri player, or the Vodacombo player play against Recano Plate, we criticized them for having Silverwing Familiars in the matchup because they weren't very impactful. This is the reason why you play Silverwing Familiar. It's for the Recano mirrors, and it's for the Stone Scar, either Burn or the Burn Queen matchups, because you need that important life swing, and it is often so impossible for your opponents to deal with once you stick a weapon on it.
Yeah, it's just a huge problem. In matchups where they don't have things that profitably block it in the air, Silverwing Familiar is actually a reasonable card.
It will generally carry your entire game. Like, this is another great example. If Visarius cannot put together a second removal spell, if there was a Silverwing Familiar in Master Bacon's hand, he can find a weapon. I mean, it's just game over. As it stands, though, we're not looking at that situation this time around. We got a pair of Pyro Knights kind of duking it out on the board. And Master Bacon is establishing another Groundwatch Paladin here. But he's running out of gas rather quickly.
Visarius actually... oh, never mind. It couldn't do it anyway. I thought they missequenced the Diplomatic Seal and missed out on the 3rd influence, but it was worth nothing regardless. So Visarius needs to find his 3rd fire for these Found Basts to come online, but even if they do come online, they don't deal well with the board as it currently stands. Although the trades are going to happen and leave just the Champion of Glory.
Yeah, and fortunately for Visarius, Master Bacon decided to play a depleted seal there, or a depleted monument, as it were, and that allows him to get the suffocate off without the threat of Finest Hour buffing it out of range. And because of that, now Visarius has a clear board.
Yeah, another diplomatic seal doing great work, but Visarius may not need these flame blasts.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to need them at this rate. We'll see what Master Bacon can come up with. I mean, there's still ways for him to win. Picking up a second Finest Hour, though, is not going to do it here.
The sideboard tech not coming through in the clutch.
Yeah, not quite. And now we see the third Fire Influence picked up, and we're going to see 5 damage come through. And, by Master Bacon holding this torch one more turn, the Flame Blast is going to come through, and the second Flame Blast is ensured lethal. So I don't see a way out of this at this point. And if Master Bacon was going to elect to use that torch in that way, I feel like he needed to do it before the damage. Because unfortunately now he's just
main
dead.
phase, because if they top like a power, they get to hold Pyronite. But
Yeah,
in any case, we're going to see Flame Blast just come in here and bring it to game 5 pretty quickly.
Yeah, and this has been quite a fast series here, as it generally is expected to be when we've got Rakano Plate up against Burn Queen. I mean, these decks are very fast, and they either win or lose in a very short number of turns. And, as we've seen it go this time around, we've seen kind of a split balance, really. Visarius could have actually won the series last game were it not for the fact that in game 3, the Silverwing Familiar came down unchecked and was able to carry the game away. And it's going to kind of come down to that in one more game. Let's see what happens as we get into the decider of our finals.
Yep, this is the last game here. We do see an interesting hand by Master Bacon. He likes to throw it away, but there were 2 Silver Familiars and 2 power. Given how powerful the card is in the matchup, it's like tempting to keep that, but Master Bacon decides, probably correctly, that it is a little too greedy.
Yeah, it was a little too greedy, unfortunately. It even had the Hammer of Might in play. Like, it had all the components you needed, but it was just a little too greedy, unfortunately. As is, though, Visarius has a pretty great hand to start with here. He's going to be able to get 3 1-drops down and start kind of turning the tide early. He's also got 2 torches in hand, which is going to be convenient to take care of the Valkyrie Enforcer and really leave Master Bacon stuck top decking for the time being. And
this game looks like it's going to play out very similarly to last game. There's even a Madness for insurance on the side of Visarius and a Combust. So he's just going to be able to chip in with these creatures while dealing with the blockers that Master Bacon is trying to present.
Ooh, and Vanquish the pickup for Master Bacon. Unfortunate that he still has that card in his deck.
Can't sideboard it out.
Yeah, you can't sideboard it out if you only have 4 cards, and it's kind of sad because it's really just a terrible card in this matchup. This is why you need to have a full 15 sideboard often in these kind of tournaments.
Yep. And the Varus favor off the top is going to be able to deal with the Oni Ronin, and we're going to see a bunch of damage come through again. And there's still the Madness, there's still the Assembly Line, there's still the Combust. It's going to be really hard for Master Bacon to make any kind of foothold to try and stem this pretty mediocre beatdown, but it's going to be good enough.
Yeah, it's steady enough, and that's all that matters. And picked up another 5 to go ahead and make it lethal on the following turn. So if Master Bacon can't pick up something to answer with this turn, that will be game. Crown Watch Paladin will at least keep him alive, and he can throw a hammer on it so that it doesn't immediately die. But unfortunately for him, it's not really going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know where this gets him. And actually, he could just Combust and then Madness, and I do think it is still lethal.
It is indeed. So we're going to see Combust come down, take away the Aegis. We're going to see Madness pick it up, and he's going to end up losing to his own Crown Watch Paladin. Visarius will be your Week 4 of Season 4 winner, taking the series down 3-2 with Burn Queen. So big congratulations to him. Huge congratulations to Master Bacon as well for finishing 2nd place. We're going to go ahead and hand it off to Rick Kenner for the time being. So, Rick Henner, feel free to take over.
Hello, everyone. This is Rick Henner, your tournament organizer. First, I'd like to congratulate both Visarius and Master Bacon for making it to the finals and guaranteeing their place in the Invitational at the end of the season. Although Visarius,
1 second, we'll get this together for you guys in just a second.
But we figured it out.
Okay, everything's good. Oh, I'm sorry. Bairdrus has me. We had some audio issues. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, although as I was saying, Visarius had already actually earned his way to the season 4 finals at the end of the season, but now he has done it via winning an event and earning himself a higher seed for the season 4 invitational. I would also like to congratulate Master Bacon, and this is his very first ETS event, and even if he didn't win, taking second is a very impressive feat. Next, I'd like to thank all the players and all the viewers. If it wasn't for you all, we couldn't be doing these tournaments. Putting this tournament and stream on every week is great, and once again, we apologize that we are having some technical difficulties. Over the last week, we thought we had ironed them out, but we have already made plans to have a tech session to try to iron them out before next week's stream. I'd also like to give a special shout out to aReNGee, the founder of aReNGee Eternal. And I'd also like to thank Miller Tool, our producer. Without him, we literally could not do this. And also thanks to our graphics and code contributors. And a thanks to our $20 Patreon backers, Chuck Hurst, Sean Kim, Mark, aka Chibi Kawai, one of the people who was actually playing in this tournament, Greg Rouse Emily, Easy, and Chris Kearns. And a special shout out this week to Giraffe, who donated $10 worth of bits to the stream earlier. And there was a few other bit donations, thanks to everyone who was kicking in. And you can find our Patreon at www.patreon.com/RNGEternal. And a special thanks to really everyone who has donated. We have reached the $200 goal, and we will be putting on our first Sunday tournament tomorrow, the Bring the Bling tournament. Unfortunately, we will not be streaming that. We have a bottleneck on production time, but Lights Out Ace will actually be playing in the tournament and streaming his point of view on the aReNGee Eternal channel. And finally, a thanks to our casters, Bairdrus and Truedawn. Truedawn, would you like to tell us about your stream?
Sure. My name is Truedawn. I stream every weekday from 9 a.m. Eastern until kind of whenever I feel like stopping. And we do that at Twitch TV/Truedawn FM. We were in a little bit of a hiatus from Eternal until Set 2 comes out. We've been streaming mostly Gwent in the recent weeks, or recent days rather. So if you're interested in that, come hang out. If you want to learn a new card game, want to see Set 2 when that comes out, certainly welcome you to come hang out in our stream. We'd like to have you.
Thank you, Truedawn. And Bairdrus, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Bairdrus, for those of you who don't know me. I obviously cast this tournament, generally speaking, every week. Been on a bit of a hiatus dealing with some life stuff, but I'm back here for the most part. Going to be streaming every Saturday here, following the tournament, casting it, generally with Truedawn, sometimes with a mix of the casters. So if you want to hear more from me, you can come check this out. At some point, me and Neon hope to get the podcast back together. You can find that on the aReNGee Eternal page. We have a link to Neon's podcast, the last 2 episodes, which were about a month ago. Me and him did. They're talking about the ladder and the tournament scene. So if you want to hear some information on that, you can feel free to check it out there. And yeah, that's about it. For everybody who's still watching, please stay tuned for Lights Out Ace. He is going to be jumping onto the stream in just a few moments. He's going to be taking off and streaming some ladder grinding today, generally streaming some fun custom decks. So if you want to check out a sweet stream by one of our fantastic creators, check that one out. Lights Out Ace, great dude, and he's a fantastic Eternal player. So check him out for some high-level content following the show. As for us, that is all we have for you today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning into the tournament. We do appreciate all the support and all the viewership. As Kenner said, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you to the players and a big thank you to the viewers. Everybody have a good night and stay tuned for Lights Out Ace in just a few minutes.